Hello and welcome to another episode of The Untold. For today's episode, I'm not going to do my rehearsed lines because for today's episode, we have a very special guest. He's one of our colleagues, he's a friend of mine. He hosts the Night Hour radio show on the 99.7 Superstation, which is our local, camaraderie here in the ministry. For today's episode, we had Noor Najdy, a man who is so entertaining. There's not a single dull moment with this dude. He's such an amazing character. He's such an amazing guy to talk to be friends with, and to just catch up with because I haven't seen Noor for a long time. I'm very curious for what he has to say. With that in mind, stay tuned. We come right after the break. And we're back. And if you are listening on your nightly rides for the Superstation 99.7, you are definitely going to know our today's guest. Hello, Noor Najdy.
Hi, Abdullah. How are you? It's finally pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Not that I haven't seen you before, but it's only changing seats, as they say.
Yeah.
Now you are presenting, and I'm not directing. No, I would never do that.
Yeah, it's like a twisted,
Yeah.
karma kind of
Fate, yeah.
thing. Yeah, for the audiences, I used to be
Yes.
behind the cameras directing you
True.
on our shows. And I used to be I'm not going to
Yes.
say dictator kind of director, but it got pretty close to that.
Yeah, it was a dictatorship, definitely, but an amazing one. And I had a pretty fun experience with you on TV, on KTV, with all the staff and everybody, all the crew. And it's a pleasure, honestly, to be on social media, whether if it's on radio or TV. It's amazing.
Honestly, it's amazing to see you again. Contrary to what you said behind the screens, you look amazing. You look healthy. I'd say you look glowing
Really?
more than
Thank
ever.
you.
But maybe because our previous show was in such a dark room,
Yes.
now we have all these lights. It's like, okay,
Definitely. Cameras and lenses can fool everybody.
yeah, they can.
Keep that in perspective.
And I'm gonna try to be as professional as I can be in
Yes.
this interview.
Good luck.
And yeah, good luck with that. I'm gonna go straight into the first question
right.
on the Untold. We always like to go from the beginnings, right? The kind of elements that drove you to this point.
Right.
Talk me through Noor Najdy. Where did it all begin?
I don't know how it worked out. Honestly, since I started from graduating from the American University, all to just finding a job just like any other kid, my main goal was to try to find my passion, my income, and a question came in mind: can I mix both? I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then I worked in a contact center or customer service center, as they call it. It was good money for my age. So after that, I kept getting comments about my voice.
Your voice.
Yes, and the customer service center manager, she wanted me to handle most of the calls because I automatically calm down the angry customers.
Yeah, you have a very soothing voice.
Okay, but
Yeah.
on the cost of what, like, am I getting incentives, as a young,
Yeah,
youth guys trying to come up with some money.
yeah,
And then I came up with the idea of doing something maybe on social media because everybody keeps saying that. So I did something back then on YouTube. It was a small voiceover on an advertisement that's already being on air.
yeah.
So I just removed the sound and I put my voice. So after that, my friends liked it, and then somebody contacted me from an agency, and they wanted me to do a little bit ads, one at a time.
Oh, okay. So it's like little breadcrumbs here and there.
Yeah, just a little bit. And in Egypt back then, and I'm not that old to say, but I'm just saying that, it was back in the day, you did not get that much of the money.
Yeah.
And then reality hits, and as a social media, if you want to work in that industry, it's not really stable, and
Yeah,
it's not really
so volatile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one day you're up, the second day you're down, the third day you're out the door.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And it's all part of an algorithm, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
you're
just
not in control no matter how
sometimes.
much content you throw
Yeah.
out there.
And then I traveled. I had to hit the road and travel, and I traveled to UAE. I worked as a sales, and I forgot the whole social media.
Oh, okay.
I went to Qatar, then I settled here in Kuwait. And I got the opportunity to send my demo to one of the people in the ministry here,
Yeah.
and they were like, okay, come do some rehearsals, do voiceovers,
Yeah.
and we'll see. And things took off from there, but I had to keep myself in check. So you have the talent or the voice, sure. The personality did not come and shine just out of nowhere.
Oh, so you weren't always the Noor that we've grown
No.
to know.
No, I had to tone it down.
Oh,
As you know,
I can attest to that.
yes, I didn't like that back then. But we all know that sometimes, if you really love to do something, sometimes you have to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Not that I'm actually taking any punches yet.
Metaphorical punches.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
now.
And I want to ask you, because you finally, fortunately, found your way to be, I would say, colleague, right, on the 99.7.
It's an honor. It's an
Yeah.
honor.
So was there a moment in your career, I'd say, it's like you finally got comfortable in saying, this is it, this is the path I'm supposed to be on?
Yes, this moment hit after a lot of training from, I will call them the OGs, the original, game changers in the radio station.
Yeah.
The superstation, they have the OGs, Maha, DJ Aki, DJ Wild West. These guys tweaked me as a radio host on how to actually be a proper radio host. When that happened, and this is a message to anybody who wants to actually memorize and realize how to tweak themselves and their talent or their gift to their personality, so they don't struggle interior from inside on how to actually struggle to keep it out and not to hide anything in.
Yeah.
As we call it, pretending or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But after a while, I started becoming myself and tailoring all what I learned and combining it with who I actually am and what I like to say on radio. But it is not easy. And keep in mind, we are not living in I don't know, United States, Europe, anywhere else.
Yeah.
We have our own society, community, things that we have to stand by.
Yeah.
The codes, the society and religion, everything.
Yeah.
So there are some things you can't really cross.
Yeah. And that's only natural, right?
It's only natural.
Yeah.
It's only normal. So while these are there are some of us that can't actually hold themselves back from walking on that thin line of trying to relieve some pressure of viewers or listeners by actually making them smile or relatable to what they're saying.
Yeah, it's like you're treading some very thin ice.
Yes.
And you're trying to calculate every step along the way,
Yeah.
so you don't kind of trip
It
and
is.
yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I became until actually. But that was thin ice, as you said, because there is management, there is ministry. Anybody can tell me, okay, you can take your bag and leave because maybe I crossed the line.
Yeah.
So,
And honestly, because your job as a presenter, especially for live broadcast, there's like little room or margin of error.
Yeah, there
Like,
isn't at all. Being live on air, whether you're on TV or you're on radio, it really has, just like you mentioned, you are a director, you're an amazing director. I worked with you before.
I will take that word. I will record this part of the interview and show it to all of my bosses and peers. That's the final testimony that I am good at my
job. Put my name with you, please, so we can both get some.
Yeah,
but the point is that walking on that thin ice made listeners enjoy something that catch their ears from the first 30 seconds or the first, 60 seconds, and there's somebody who's saying something different. Because we're all used to the traditional, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the radio station.
Right, yeah. It's the average associated voice radio. Yeah.
That is, in my eyes, I apologize for anybody out there. It's just, for me, I see it as I would like to contact the person who's driving a car and think that I am his friend sitting right next to him.
Yeah.
Imaginary friend. Well, there's a lot of imaginary friends.
In other words, it's a very hazardous conditions to drive at, because you could fall asleep at any minute and get into a crash site.
Well, yes, of course, that would be sad to see, tragically. And if the police heard you on the radio when the person is injured, they're gonna get me a suspect to be involved in. But that's not the point. The point is that I'm trying to make people laugh and smile while walking on thin ice, and it's not easy to do because sometimes topics can be very crucial and very critical to talk
Yeah.
about on radio live.
And honestly, I can attest to that. And this is not just because you're here,
Right.
but your show was 2 hours,
Yes.
and it's 2 hours and it's live. And
Mm.
honestly, if you listen to him, every minute is entertaining, and
Thank
it
you.
comes out so effortlessly
Yeah.
smooth.
Yeah.
And because I know you behind the scenes, I'm like, this guy is such a professional.
Appreciate that. So I
Such a
feel so
professional.
glazed. I'm about to crack. Can I got a napkin around here? But really, seriously, it is my perspective when I try to go on air. I leave a bag outside the radio station before I go into the station. Noor is out the door. My problems, whatever I have, this is not about me no more. This is about the listeners, and I don't care how many listeners out there. Even if you are a one person listening to me, one person, one guy, one girl, that's all I need.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah, honestly, for the audience, and I think for me, because also presenting is kind of a new thing for me, but I am on the same wavelength, right?
Right.
Whenever I step into the room,
Yeah.
this isn't about us anymore,
No.
right? It's about if we have a guest, it's about the guest.
Yes.
And if we have the audiences looking, it's about the audience, what kind of thing they're taking from the episode.
Yep.
So my baggage is all out of the door.
That's true.
It's not here with us.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's 100% true. And also, I have to add on this, when you talk about a topic, you have to make sure, well, from my point of view again, relatable.
Yeah.
Make everything relatable. When I talk about something, I don't really care if I put on a show, because I have no show to put on. It's
Yeah.
just me. While you guys are working out there, and I'm talking to everybody out there who has a job from 8 to, I don't know, 9,
Yeah.
getting that cheddar cheese, getting that money going in the house for the family, anybody. I am just daydreaming,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking about things that you guys don't think about. So when you have that traffic jam at 50 degrees Celsius with no AC in your car that's
Yeah.
not, we're about to do something, you can hear a voice that actually gets you distracted, and maybe you get a chance to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. And I think honestly, you're doing a good job. Again, I'm not really saying that just because you're here.
I know.
I do frequently listen
Hey.
to 99.7.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, and I love actually everything and I remember everything you used to tell us up till this moment. I go by it, by the way, from him being a director on a TV to the radio show. I still use these tips on the radio show.
Well, thank you for that.
Hey,
And
gotcha.
I want to talk to you specifically about your approach, because for people who know you on a personal level, you have a very distinctive and unique, style of humor.
Yes.
Your sarcasm kind of, approach to topics and subjects is very nuanced, I would say. And I know nuance is, for the audience, are going to be like, what does that even mean?
Right.
But trust me, if you know Noor, you're going to know 100% what that means.
Yeah.
So did that style of humor, come to you naturally, or did you develop it through the years and from your work?
Yeah, development for sarcasm, it was basically something around, maybe everybody walks around with a baggage of issues, right?
Yeah.
And everybody interprets this problem one way or another. For me, I just see this kind of sarcasm. Some people see it as a skill. Some people say it as a shield to present or to deflect personal issues.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's just a way for me to vent about things that might be bothering either me or the people around me, or even the regular person on the street.
Yeah.
And talking about it in a way that is maybe a little bit funny and at the same time sarcastic. But the problem with sarcasm is it is a very, again, thin ice to know what you're doing when you're talking sarcastically, because there's a couple of levels of sarcasm. You can be, a joker or a funny person. You can be a sarcastic person. You can be a dark sarcasm person. And some people will get it, understand the joke,
Yeah.
and they would smile or laugh. And some people won't get it.
Yeah. And then it's a
Then you're in
problem.
trouble.
Yeah.
And that is how you know that I'm fired from a lot of companies that I used to work with.
Yeah. I only meant that as a joke.
No, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. For me, I didn't actually take it seriously. I don't take mostly anything seriously except when my wife tells me to.
Yeah, I think we share both of the same thing, because I'm not talking about my wife, but my mom always tells me, don't
Yeah.
joke in text messages,
Yeah.
because your sarcasm doesn't show up.
Yes.
We don't know if you're joking or not.
Yeah.
We don't know if this is serious or not. I'm like, okay, mom, I'm gonna try not to joke.
Right.
I'm gonna save the joke when you come back home.
But it's very hard. It's very hard
Yeah,
to do that because you
is.
know what? When you send a message to somebody who knows you, sure, they might understand. Okay, that's Noor. You know what? Just
Yeah.
leave the message. But if you send it to somebody who's a stranger, they might not get it. Even to the point that this generation, 2025, generation beta or alpha, and I honestly have no idea why are they alphas. No offense, gentlemen or kids. But the point is, why are they insulting the thumbs up, for example, when you put it on WhatsApp? Apparently now it's a thing that thumbs up is an insult or.
I have absolutely no idea.
There you
The
go.
only time I come close to using any kind of emoji on my text is when I'm trying to actively show the person, okay, this is in fact a joke.
Yes.
And speaking of emojis, because they are such a very, I would say, uninhabitable kind of topic, we are going to take a break.
Oh, yeah.
But we are going to come back with Noor Najdy after this one, so stay tuned. And we are back with Noor Najdy, who's our colleague in the KTV radio superstation 99.7. They gotta do something about the name.
I know, right?
Yeah.
They gotta do it like, I don't know, TVK maybe, or I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. They gotta, honestly, I know, maybe you don't know this, or maybe I haven't shared it with you,
Yeah.
but the time that you got the Night Rider gig, I was actually, what do they call when they practice you or train you or something?
Trainees.
Yeah, trainee. I was
Yeah.
training with Maha
Oh,
on the 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock,
Is her
the
show 2
drive
o'clock?
back.
The drive back.
The
Yeah,
drive back 2 o'clock.
I was
with,
a trainee
Maha.
with Maha on
Yeah,
the drive
yeah.
back. Yeah,
How did that go?
it did not go very good.
I understand
Yeah.
that very well.
It did not go
No comment.
very good. I
plead
I
the fifth.
think I messed it up on air in a very big way, and we'll leave it to the archives.
We all mess up on air at some point. You never know what's happening through the host. Well, you can call him a host, you can call him a presenter, you can call him whatever you want to call him. But at the end of the day, it's the man or the woman behind the microphone. And when it comes to the person who was training you, she is an absolute genius. She actually took on her shoulders a lot of artists and bands and
She's a
musicians.
staple of the, I would say, the 99.7
That's true.
entire catalog.
Yes,
Yeah.
she presented and she guested a lot of musicians, artists, book writers, ambassadors.
Yeah.
And she lifted in the social media community a lot of people from Kuwait, and she gave them a push and a boost.
Yeah, honestly, but I think I was training there for maybe, I would say a little bit under of a month.
Right.
And in that
That's not
small,
enough, yeah.
in that small, short amount of time, we've seen, like I said, ambassadors, we've seen council members,
Right.
we've seen like performers. Honestly, she has an amazing reach.
That's
one of the greats of the radio.
Mentioning this, just like you said, trainees, I already got a trainee that I'm training now, so I think the ball keeps rolling, and now I'm training somebody. But I did not think it was a good idea for me to train someone.
I don't.
Bad
Yeah,
because-
as much as I love you as a colleague, I don't think you should be mentor anyone, because honestly, you have such a distinctive
I know.
and unique voice.
Yeah.
It's not, if someone else doesn't have that kind of voice,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like,
It's just also the fact that they gave her everything needs to be trained and learned about being a radio live host, and then when they finished with all the training, they sent her to me, and I was very happy to actually pass along all the knowledge that I was trained for.
but you're just so natural at it. Like
For me, it's different. For me, I have nothing to add on. Like if you ask me what is it that you like, do I put a show? Do I put a personality on? Do I put anything on? For me, Noor off air is just exactly like Noor on air, and that's a big problem for my wife to live with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I can attest to that, because when we are listening to you on air,
Yeah.
I can see where you're trying to walk on thin ice, right? I
Yes.
can hear whenever you really want to go into the
Somewhere.
topic more, but you go into
Can't, yeah.
break into the song. I'm like,
Yes.
okay, Noor has done that fantastically. Once
I have to. You're right, and that's one of the things that I think the listeners is 2025. If we were in the 90s, and trust me, we have been doing this radio since the 50s. Kuwait has been doing this. uh, gloriously
Yeah,
since the
honestly, we
50s.
have a corridor of archives and historical artifacts of the radio in Kuwait, and walking through that is such an amazing
Yeah, yeah.
experience.
I love to eat my ice cream and
Yeah,
just stroll around on this place. Not that I love ice cream, but the point is that I always do this and trend when trying to talk about the history of Kuwait in radio, and I'm trying to take it to the next level because it's 2025. We
yeah,
need to take the radio up to the next level. And remember, TV and radio are just two faces for the same coin.
right, yeah,
If you're not watching, that's the TV, then you're listening. That's the radio.
yeah,
And radio is not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be always with us. It's gonna be always the fail safe, always somebody who wants to have a company when you just open the
yeah,
radio by mistake. I know you have your
yeah.
phone, I know you have that and podcasts like this and whatnot, with all due respect, of course. But
No, it's
in
not
the
gonna
end,
replace it. Yeah,
yeah, you're
yeah,
gonna just tune in the radio and you might listen to a human being that you can actually talk
yeah.
to.
And honestly, I think that's why radio is kind of superior to regular television, because as long as there is driving, there are long commutes,
Hmm.
radio is going to be here. But when you go home, you're not going to be always watching television, right? You're going to be playing video games.
Hmm.
You have all these streaming channels. So
Yes.
radio, as long as you have a place to go, you go into your car, you go into
Yes.
the bus, you go into a train, there's always going to be radio.
It's a lot of work to do, but in the end of the day, when you actually go live, the listener doesn't see anything, doesn't hear anything.
Yeah,
He just sees somebody talking, but he doesn't know how hard it is to actually, especially on the radio, when you put a whole playlist. Sure, you have a couple of songs in your head that you can put on as a playlist.
yeah.
Sure, you have a subject or two to talk about, but try doing that for 5 years
And for 2 hours, I mean,
every day.
I just mentioned that I was training. I think I was only on air for my trainings,
Mm.
maybe half an hour. It's so hard to maintain conversation, even though there are song breaks between those, but every minute of those, because you're constantly, consciously aware of the words you're saying.
Yes.
And it's like this back and forth, kind of
Yeah.
equation.
Yeah.
It's like, am I saying this correctly? Am I saying this, fundamentally
That's true.
in place? And it's such a battle.
It's a little bit of a hustle, but after a while, it becomes like something you do and get used to.
Yeah.
And I'm so honored and happy to keep doing what I'm doing, radio and TV. Speak my mind as much as I can, of course,
Yeah.
and preserve the rest in the house. But it's still a a very good thing to do for me to actually keep that going and send the listener something they actually get clicked on to listen to.
Yeah.
Not something about traveling, not something about food, not something about, with all due respect to all these topics, but anybody can hear this anywhere. This is very
Yeah.
boring for me, to me
Yeah.
personally, Noor. So when I put on the show or speak on the radio, you will hear things that you usually don't hear anywhere. Like, for example, I don't know, speaking about somebody or Japan inventing a spoon that actually calculates how much calories you eat,
Oh,
or a mirror that
that's a
tells you
very
if
smart
you're,
invention.
yeah, or a mirror that is telling you if you are smart or beautiful or ugly.
Yeah.
And then I sarcastically drag that out. Imagine this mirror here in Kuwait, and we actually buy it. And I make fun of things over expensive, like, one of these things that they buy called fululu, labuba, I don't know, something
Yeah.
like that, whatever that is. Sounds like medicine or something that you take for your,
I think this was the sign that I'm not relatively old or young, right? I'm in the middle, but this was the sign that finally I'm like, okay, I'm out of the culture zone,
Yes.
right? I don't
Yeah.
understand the world anymore,
Yeah.
but I'm perfectly fine with it.
Perfect. This is
Yeah.
the perfect example where I have to actually take this around and turn around and just polish it a little bit and
Yeah.
attack this in a way, because I'm about to I do this all the time. With all due respect to all the singers out there and celebrities, but I loudly present on the radio show about people like, I don't know, Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift and don't
Yeah,
get me on started on
You don't
Drake.
hold back. You don't hold back.
I don't hold back with them.
There's not a lot of sugarcoating
No,
on
I
the.
just laid down
Yeah.
on these guys and just opened fire on these people, respectively, that is.
Respective, of
Yes.
course. Yeah.
Because I call them performers. I don't really call them artists.
Yeah.
Big
And
difference.
honestly, for these, performers,
Yeah.
they're singing for 5 minutes and taking millions of dollars.
Yes.
I'm sure they can take a few,
It's
negative
amazing.
words. Yeah.
Yes, of course they can, and they
Yeah.
will. Just like I do. Because aside from the radio, I do content on YouTube and other things,
Yeah.
and I take a lot of pressure and attacks as well. because not everybody would understand a person who's sarcastically funny.
Yeah.
No, doesn't resonate
Yeah.
with a lot of people.
I want to hone in a little bit more on
Okay.
that note, right? Because you have a very, like we've mentioned, a very unique personality.
Right.
And so, is there a lot of pressure every time you walk into the room? Some days you're not feeling it. Some days you're feeling, bad. You're feeling negative. You're feeling down. Is there a lot of pressure for you to maintain this kind of persona,
Hmm.
in those 2 hours you're live? Or does that bleed into your?
I think it just it's a blend of me being who I am and the people seeing what I am actually in real life. They will understand and they will know, the people that know me, that whoever they are seeing on the camera is the same person that they're seeing off camera.
Yeah.
There's not really much of a difference. The only difference is when I go home, it's actually full on sarcasm. There's no holdbacks or filters. So yeah, we're opening a phone line for donation for my wife's mental health to actually stay in content and intact. But me off camera, me on camera, it's the same thing. It's just I feel joy and happiness when I see somebody else getting what I'm trying to send and the message that I'm trying to send for everybody, whether if it's funny or criticizing something. It's that's my goal. If you understood what I'm trying to say, if you understood the amazing point of view, that's it for me.
Yeah, and speaking of understanding, especially from the audience's point of view, what is something from all of your encounters, right? Whether it's dealing here or
Mm.
on your social media platforms, what is something audiences kind of misunderstood of you?
Oh, a lot of things. Unfortunately, as you know, not everybody is understandable to all types of jokes or all types of communication of being whether intellectual or whether you're talking about something smart, talking about something funny and criticizing it. Not everybody actually is lenient towards understanding and an eagle point of view of the subject or the topic.
Yeah.
So they would immediately, as a keyboard warrior, they will definitely attack on you
Yeah.
and tell you what exactly is right, at least from their point of view. And then as a content creator, you would have to decide, do I respond? Do I not?
With that in mind, I do want to thank you again, Noor, for sitting down with us on The Untold. Again, this was highly enjoyable.
My pleasure.
Thank you, my friend, for being here with us today. And I'm sure the audiences had a great laugh and had a great enjoyment out of this episode as much as I did. Thank you again.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate that.
Thank you. With that in mind, we have reached the end of the interview segment of The Untold. We'll come right after the break. Unfortunately, that was all of the time we've had for today's episode of The Untold. Honestly, I could have been here for hours on end and I would not have been bored for 1 second of it. It's always amazing to sit down with Noor. I'm so glad for the production team that he was today's guest because honestly, like I've said in the beginning, I haven't seen him for a long time. It's always fun. It's always, happy. It's always a joyride whenever I'm with him. And we are very thankful for him for being with us today. But unfortunately, that was all the time we've had on The Untold. Until next time, goodbye for now.